Okay guys, so welcome to dotloop. This is what your system is going to look like. There's agents in this room who have already used dotloop either at their previous brokerages or if someone has looped you into a transaction. So what dotloop is and what dotloop does is it simplifies your life by creating the paperwork that you need for your files inside of what's called a loop, and then you're able to tie other people into it, such as your clients, the other agents, the attorneys, everyone basically. So loop them in. But the beauty of it, the best part of all that is that it takes you literally minutes to prepare paperwork. Michelle's, I know she's like, yes, my life is getting better. So it takes you minutes to prepare the paperwork now, as opposed to as long as it used to take you before, by downloading, uploading, putting the information in every single time. Once you have already saved your profile in here with your name, your license number, your office address, contact information, it's completely saved for life. So until you change it. So the first thing you guys would want to do is do something just like that. So you would want to go into your account where it says my account and just change all your information. As you guys can see here, you would go in here and just put in your information. Put in all the address information for your company, put in your license information, put in you go here to profiles. As you guys can see, you have a profile set up. You have to put in your license ID and your office's license ID. So make sure you take the time to do that first. Once you've done that, you guys are pretty much ready to go. So you can create your first loop. Let me start here where it says reporting. Nice thing about the dotloop system is that it'll give you reports on how much production you have done, are in the process of doing, and then what you've done at any given time, like by month or by year. You can see what it is that you have your business doing. It even shows you what falls apart. So if you have like a lot of deals dying on you, there might be a trend going on. You can start to look into seeing, why am I so many deals dying this month as opposed to last month, or this year as opposed to last year. So this is really cool. So reporting is something you might want to use once in a while. Next thing is your loops. Now, within your loops here, you're going to see all the transactions that you've been looped in on, and also all the transactions that you've created yourself. So in order for you to do this step, it's very simple. Up here on the upper right hand corner, you see where it says add loop. Everyone sees that? Okay, good. We'll go ahead and add a loop. So we're going to put in an MLS number. So you guys don't even have to put in the information, because it'll auto-populate the information right from the MLS. So it saves you from having time to put the information down. And sometimes if you don't have an MLS number and you just put the address, it'll find that address within Google, and it'll also put the information for the property down. So I'm putting in an MLS number for an office listing we have here in-house. So I'm going to find it. I'm going to import the data. I'm going to go here and create the type of loop transaction I want. You guys see here? I'm going to put in that it is, I'll create a contract for it first. So I'll go to buying template, continue. Here's a picture of the house, just to make sure you have the right one. You hit done. Okay, so now we can tell it what type of deal it is. It's a purchase, status. It would be a pre-offer. So view loop. Okay, so now I've created this loop. Here it is. So what I'm going to start doing now is going over the view details section you see up here. Right, I'm going to click there where it says view details, and I'm going to go in here and I'm going to start changing things around. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is add someone. So if I have a buyer for it, I'm going to hit add buyer or add person, and I'm going to put the person's name here. I'm going to put John Smith. I'm going to call that person my buyer, and since he's my buyer, now I'm going to have to put in John's email, and I'll put his phone number, and then I will also put, if he has an LLC, I can put that there. I can put his property or where he lives, because you guys know that that information goes on a contract, so you're going to need that. Now, if the person's married, you can put here married or single. That makes a difference later on when they prepare the title, the deed. So you put that there, either, let's say, married. Okay, so we're going to add this person. Oh, but you can also send intro email if you want to give them a kind of an introductory email, but I'm not going to do that right now. So we've added this person. Next thing I'm going to do now is add the seller's information. And I would go here and put in Mr. Seller's information. I would put in his address. Take out this. If he has an LLC, you can put an LLC instead of their name. Now, a lot of things that you're going to start to understand is that you don't really get that much information for the seller if you don't represent the seller. So if you guys don't have an address for that person, you can just put down the property address. That's fine. You can just use the property address. You don't have to go crazy searching for their address or their phone number. You know, most of the time you won't have their phone number, so you don't need to worry about that. So this information I put here, you don't have to do that if you don't represent that party. And then you would add that person. Okay, so now I've got my buyer and my seller. I can add another real estate agent if I wanted to. So if there's another agent, we go in here and do the same thing we just did with the listing agent. And I go in here and add that person's information. As you guys can see, I'm doing here. Now I can add that person. Now I've got the seller, I got the buyer, and I've got the other agent. I can do the same thing with the attorneys once the contract's signed, or you could do it now if you want. I would probably wait till it gets accepted, then go ahead and loop in the attorneys. But then as you scroll down, you're going to see the property address. You're going to see the financials. So here under financials, you're going to put down the purchase price is what it's listed for. So let's just say that home was listed for $399, right? $399, whatever. And then your offer price is going to be, let's just say you want to offer $405,000. And then you put all the other stuff that you see here that are pertinent to you. You don't have to put everything. So it's going to ask you here what the title fee is. You don't have to put that. The sale commission, yes, you do want to put that. You want to make sure that you get this right all the time. If you don't know the total sale commission, that's fine. Don't worry about it. As long as you put your buy side down, you're good. The sell side, a lot of times we don't know what that is, so you can leave that part blank. And anything else like you might see down here, like the earnest money deposit, you want to make sure you put something there. Okay. You don't have to worry about any of that. Contract dates, you guys know you have to put in the date. So what date you want it to be, it's going to be signed today. When you're going to close, you close next month. Perfect. Other dates, inspection dates, you can put down the inspection date is going to be on the 18th. The offer date is going to be today, and we talked about that. The expiration of the offer can be if you're giving them to the end of the week to accept or decline. That's fine. Acceptance date can be when they accept. Occupancy date is the same day as your closing normally. That's that. Transaction number you don't have to worry about. Class you don't have to worry about. Type you don't have to worry about. Referral, if somebody referred you this deal and you have a referral source going out, you have to fill that out. Listing information, you can go ahead and mess around with this if you want to. If you can put in here like when a listing is going to expire, but this is really only if it's your listing. Don't worry about if it's not. Okay, everything else here looks pretty good. The only thing I would change would be adding in the lot and block. This should be auto-populating. I don't know why it's not auto-populating yet. I will find out for you guys, but it will. It should auto-populate. If anyone's used dotloop before, maybe you guys can tell us what you need to do to auto-populate, but I will find out for you guys. And this is just some general information about the property that it found online on the MLS. And that's it. We can save it. So now that we've saved it, that loop has been created. I will now look at go back to my loop. Okay, now as you guys can see on your screen, on the screen here, there are things that are required. They're in red. This is how you become compliant. As long as you get the things that are in red signed, you're good. You don't have to worry about being out of compliance. It says buying documents, and then underneath it says contract documents. They're the same thing. It's just repetitive. They're both the same thing. What you do now is you will literally just highlight the ones you want, and now you can go ahead and share this with your client. So who needs to get it? Mr. Buyer and Mr. Seller. Okay, so if Mr. Seller is not going to be in the loop right now because you don't have Mr. Seller's email address, which you shouldn't have because you don't represent the seller, then you just unclick the seller and you just send it to Mr. John Smith, and then you go ahead and share that. Right, once that's shared, it's going to send them an electronic email for them to sign the contract. Now that's a lot easier than having to do every single document one by one, and then that's a lot easier than having to then remember to give Melanie the file, because once this is created, Melanie can see it, so you guys don't have to worry about that anymore. So long gone are the days when you go to close the deal and then Melanie says, we don't know where your file is, you never submitted a file, you're missing this document, oh, I can't get paid yet because my file is not complete. If you guys do it this way, you'll never have to worry about that ever again. It is everything in one. So if you guys are paying for the paid version of DocHub or whatever, you don't need it anymore. So let me go ahead and show you this. You guys can see the contract here. It says seller sign here, buyer sign here. It's already going to be there. Autofill. Okay. You have to hit the autofill button. Once it says autofill, you're going to see Mr. sign here, John sign here. Down here you'll see John Smith's already here. All the info is auto-populated. So that's a lot easier for you guys. So you don't have to do any of that stuff that you guys used to do before. So as long as you autofill, your documents are good to go. You autofill and then send them out. Save and share. So now Mr. I'm sorry, not Mr. John Smith is going to get it. I don't want I don't want the seller to get it. I just want the.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is there anything that we have to go back and fill out, like does it put the deposit amount and all that?
Yeah, since this is going to be the first few times you guys are using this, double check your stuff before you send it out for signature. Make sure that all the fields that you normally would fill out are filled out. If they're not, you can go in here and fill them out. Like here where it has nothing checked off, you can go ahead and check in the buyer, not the seller. You can go and put in that there's $1,000 first deposit, but maybe we didn't put down how much the second deposit is. Until we all, including myself, I've done literally one loop with Tiffany over the weekend. That's the only loop I've ever done in my life. Until we figure out how to do it perfectly, just double check your work, and then we'll all learn together. This is not a training to teach you how to master this. This is a training to teach you guys how to start using it. So now, with when it comes to doing a listing, you could do the same thing. Get out of here. Okay. Okay. So if I wanted to create a loop, go back to my loops. If I want to create a loop for a listing, it would be the same thing. The only difference is this time you wouldn't have to put an MLS number. You would just put an address. So you would go in here and put in 1833 Front Street. Scotch Plains. I'm going right off of Google. What kind of loop is this going to be? It's going to be a listing template. I go ahead and continue that. I can add a photo in here if I want. I don't have to. Then I'm done. Okay, so now I'm going to view my loop. I can enter the price right here if I want. Status is going to be pre-listing. I'm going to enter my price. Let's say I want to sell it for $500,000. I go ahead and view my loop. And now this is what has to go inside of your listing folder as a listing, okay? So now there's no guesswork for new agents. You just click on here. If you go to share, it'll probably tell you here, who do you want to share it with? So let's just say I forgot to add anyone. So I want to add Jim, owner, and I would add Jim's email. Jim is the seller. So now since it knows that Jim doesn't have any information here, it's probably going to ask you for more. Here under view details. So always go to view details because I don't think it'll let you add his information from there. But as you can see, Jim owner, let's go to edit him. And now here we can go ahead and add all the information that we had to include there with Jim's information. Okay? So it'd be the same thing essentially for a listing or for a contract. But the beauty of it, guys, is that if you want to create any type of transaction, so if, let's just say we want to create, as you guys can see, I just went to here where it says templates. Okay? As you scroll down here on the left-hand side, you're going to see that there's a template already in place for you guys to do assignments. There's a template already for you guys to do commercial listings or commercial transactions. There's a template here for you guys to create your invoice for your commission. So if you went in here, you want to create the invoice, you just click on it, fill it out. All right, so now I've imported this to one of my transactions. So what it did here, guys, is it wouldn't let me edit it till I looped it into one of my transactions. So now that I did, I can go in here and edit my seller's invoice. I can just edit it here if I want, or I can do it manually, which I'll just opt out to do it manually. If I can go to here, purchase price, let's just say I sold the home for $500,000. I would just put that. Then I can go here and put in the address of 123 Example Street. Go in here and calculate the commission, whatever it was. Then once you're done, you can save it, share it, however you want. So now life becomes a lot easier for you guys. Let me just go back.
Essentially, just we don't need the Google Drive anymore. Everything's within this one hub.
Yeah, you will not need to use Google Drive anymore. I am going to leave it up for a while because there are some really good things in the Google Drive besides this stuff. I've created a library in there for you guys. I've created workflows in there for you guys. I've created checklists in there for you guys. So there's good things in there that I'll eventually import here as well.
Okay.
But you guys can definitely start using this from now on. It's going to be a little bit difficult at first to start getting used to it because you guys have never done it before, but just keep messing with it just like everything else. Let me just go through it, finish going through the templates real quick. Okay, so we have auction. So if you guys are representing somebody at an auction, you know what you need. Short sales, if you're doing a short sale, you know what you need. GSMLS documents. So as you guys know that every type of property has its own input form for the MLS. So that would be here. LLC buyout. If you need an LLC buyout deal, here's what you need. Miscellaneous stuff has things like miscellaneous file had in Drive, such as your escrow return and request, multiple offers, highest and best, addendum to contract, you might need that, referral agreements, cash for keys, so anything you might need like that, like a miscellaneous document, they're in here. Your listing documents, your buying documents, listing lease documents, regular lease documents, and this folder here is for the only way you can access this folder, New Jersey Association of Realtors documents. They're mostly in your templates already, but they do have a lot of other documents that you may use at one point or another. The only way you can log into that is if you use your NERDS number, and then you'll be able to log into that. Okay, so last thing I want to show you guys is that you can also create tasks for yourself in here. You can create tasks for others if you have people on your team, and you can also input your people. So as of right now, if you go in here, whenever you do a transaction, it'll also tell you who are people that are, referred by the office to use. I know a lot of times people ask me, who can I use for a loan? Who can I use for an attorney? Who can I use for that? So what I've done is I took the liberty of importing a few people in every category that I have people for. So under trusted lenders, we have people like Landy, Claudia. We have the Hard Money Project. If you guys don't have a hard money deal that you want priced out, you can just go there and you can get lenders to bid on you. You got home inspectors. I've got Keith in here. If you have your own, you can add them in there as well. Home warranty. I have someone for a home warranty. Attorneys, we have Joe Gachko and Ashley. If you guys want insurance for your house, if you guys want a title escrow person, you have it there. So you can fill out all your people so you can automatically loop them in. You don't have to then download the contracts, put them into an email, send them to other people. So as you guys start to make this your own, you will start to make life a little bit easier. So take the time to set up your dot loop the way you want, and you will have no issues whatsoever. Any questions so far, guys, on what we've talked about? Really simple, right? Really easy?
Very simple.
It is. Bridget, you used the dot loop, right, at your last place? Yeah, Bridget used dot loop, and it's great, right? Easy. Good. Awesome. All right, so now we're going to talk about, one last thing before I move on. Dot loop, right, it merges with your Zillow. So if you guys have Zillow, everyone should have Zillow. Make sure you sync it. The reason why that's important is because when you go to close your transaction, or when you're working on a transaction, you can ask for the review right from dot loop. So you can send them a message right from there, and you'll get their review from that person. So now it starts to become more of a process, and it does a reminder to you, like, oh yeah, I have to remember to get a. No, it's in there, it's built in. But make sure that you sync that. You will also be able to sync Broker Sumo with dot loop. So that means that whenever you guys create a transaction in dot loop, it'll reflect in your Broker Sumo performance. So your Broker Sumo reports will be up to date. All the files that are there already, Melanie won't have to now create from scratch for you guys in Broker Sumo, so it'll save her a lot of work. So please make sure that you take the time to sync your Broker Sumo and sync your Zillow to dot loop.